One of the most interesting things about the filming experience for me was coming on set every day and not quite knowing what to expect. You would come in one day, it would be a belfry, the next day it would be a hospital waiting room, a surgery, Lorcan's bedroom. It just seemed to transform every time. You would emerge from a small little makeup room and you'd arrive and it would be somewhere completely different. I think the attention to detail with the different sets that were created really helped to create that atmosphere.
It's quite an adventure to see all the different locations, different sets that you're on. You really feel that you're being transported back to that era.
Coming into work on a day-to-day basis was quite exciting because you never know what set would be standing up when you entered the room. They were changed quite frequently, each one quite brilliantly achieved, I felt. They really added something to the atmosphere. And quite meticulously prepared. I seem to remember Mark had been collecting little bits and pieces and trinkets over the years to sort of build up in the background for Dr. Edwards' office, and so it was quite fantastic to come in and see what he'd actually found.
The scene where I visited Lorcan when he was being held chained up, and it had that really eerie sense that it was created. It was dark and shadowy, and you completely forgot you were in a TV studio. You felt like you were walking down damp, dark, grimy stairways into a cell where rats could be scuttling around. It was really important to have that atmosphere when you're working in a studio and when you're doing scenes, sometimes out of context or out of order, and that you can just come in and that the atmosphere is already there for you.
I used to think there was some kind of trick towards being in a period drama. You think would be some kind of extra hurdle to jump, but really it's a drama. It's a human drama. Well, sometimes superhuman when you're turning into a demon. But from my character's point of view, it was a human drama, which you could relate to in any era, Victorian or modern, but then what you're surrounding yourself with and what you're dressed in, that then transports it back into that era and makes you yourself take on that persona.
One has to hope that the language one is given to speak feels in the right genre and is not too contemporary. And we certainly addressed that with the script. The other thing is making sure that the body language is right for the period. So my character wouldn't kind of slump about in a 21st century sort of way, 20th or late 20th or 21st century way. I think he would tend to be much more upright and contained. Which the costume helps with, of course, as well.
The bear pit scene is just kind of raw, carnal masculinity meeting kind of crime and just shadiness and gambling. But filming it was great. I mean, you had all these fight scenes, you had all these trained fighters as well taking part in it. All the special effects and it looked great. And it was just, the energy in the room was mad. Everyone was just grinning when they yelled cut. People are still just sort of beaming grins and just having a great time.
I mean, the experience of Demon is something I'll always hold very dear to myself. You know, having experience of doing indie films, usually it's done on sort of a 2-week timescale, but this was shot over 2 years, you know, mainly because we spent either half the time in the TV studio every day going in and there being a different set completely, or the other half filming on location, which is, having done it before, it was different this time round because I've never done it before in wearing full Victorian clothes. In terms of my approach as well, at the time I was sort of I was a young, quite impatient and quite sort of confused actor, and so I relied very heavily on Mark and would frequently sort of demand his direction, and he was very, very sort of reassuring and you know, just stop moving your head too much or slow that line down. And it was something that at the time confused me a bit, but now looking back I think that was, it put me in good stead, and a lot of directors have actually sort of thanked me for having an approach that can very much be linked to Mark. You know, he sort of gave me an understanding that the actor needs to do the work and stop relying on being puppeteered. So that was useful.
It was a really unique and lovely environment filming Demon, because what struck me immediately was how quiet it was on the set. Usually I'm so used to having a boom and so many other crew standing around. But because of the way Mark filmed and the camera that he used, it was just him on the set, and he ADR'd the voice if he needed to later. So having that quietness really helped to create a fantastic sense of the environment that we're in, and you really could, and because of the way he created this wonderful set, you really could get a sense that here I am in this Victorian hospital.
Memorable moment in Demon for me was when we were filming on a rooftop, and I was wearing, well, Billy was wearing the pajamas, and Mark had organised these pyrotechnics, like smoke bombs, and they were placed in the chimneys. So we were surrounded by this incredible amount of smoke, which in the film looks absolutely fantastic.
We did a scene where I was performing surgery on someone, and I just remember the scene involved me pinning this guy down while he screamed and while I operated on him, and constantly the cries at the end of every take was for more blood.
Cut! More blood!
We just needed more and more blood, and it was just getting everywhere, like up your arms, all over the floor. I think there's certainly shots of it just running down. And so I think if I had one memory of this film, it's possibly the bloodiest film I will ever work on. I think that's fair to say.
So having a fight scene with Lorcan, played by Andrew, was great fun because I just got to batter him. And not that I don't like him, but it was just good fun to throw another actor about.
The Rook, played by Andrew Cunningham, he rushes into the bedroom, sort of grabs me and begins to sort of beat me, sort of punch me several times. And we went for several takes, and it was all very well choreographed. It was, everything was fine, everything was safe. And he was really getting, in between takes, he'd sort of be building himself up, and I really want to get this right, and really, every take more and more and more. And the final take, he sort of went for one and it was fine, next pulled me up, and then he just hit me full on, straight across the face.
Did I hit it?
You clocked him.
I really don't remember that.
And I was, sort of startled, but at the same time thinking, it's great, this is what my character's feeling. And we carried on shooting, and he was really going for it. And as the director called cut, he sort of put me right down, and he said, I'm so sorry, I'm really, 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 really sorry. And I said, it's fine. And he said the reason that he didn't stop during the scene was because he knew that if he'd stopped, then I would have gone for him more.
I thought the set was quite incredible, actually. And in particular, I thought the attention to detail. So you would be on set filming your scene, and then there would be something that would surprise you. So for me, it was the moment where I lit a candle, and there's a photograph of Queen Victoria there. And it was always these moments that Mark had just created this wonderful environment where it didn't feel just like a set. It felt more complete. It had greater depth. And obviously, yes, behind that, it is only sort of set deep. He created a whole environment that went beyond what was ever seen, so that for us as the actors playing these roles, we were in a hospital ward, or we were in Dr. Edwards' office, or we were in a bedroom in an attic. You were never thinking, oh, if you turn the camera that way, then there's going to be some tables and chairs and some boxes. It was this full, complete environment, which was wonderful, just down to the tiny little details that he added everywhere.
I had a look around, I saw the set, I thought this looks very good, and there was a camera on a tripod, what looked like a single lens reflex still camera. I thought, oh, he must be taking some stills before we start. And then there was a bit of sitting around, as it was absolutely standard for filming. And then Mark said to me, oh, well, we're going to shoot this scene now. I thought, well, he hasn't put the camera up yet. And we were taking positions, and he was looking through this still camera. And at one point I said, Mark, when are you going to put the camera in? He said, no, this is the camera. But it is extraordinary. It does look just like a little sort of 35mm, quite posh one, 35mm SLR camera, or the digital version thereof. And as you will have seen, if you've watched the movie before seeing this interview, it does produce some extraordinary results.